Hello, this is Dr. Devasena Desai from Pune, India. I am the Associate Director for Kaveri Counseling, Empowerment and Gifted Center, which is situated in Pune. I'd like to share our work in India and our presence of how we are addressing giftedness in our schools. I would like to start with our founder director, Mrs. Malti Kalmadi, who shared her views as gifted education is not a financial liability. It's a moral and ethical responsibility of equity. Every child has a right to an education that matches their intellect and artistic needs. Let me walk through the journey of our work, which we had starting from our vision, mission, and some of the programs that we have in our Kaveri Gifted Education and Research Center. Our mission is to establish integrated systems within schools for identification and supporting the needs of gifted children in India. Our mission: every child should be identified and nurtured towards meeting their potential and thereby contributing towards nation building. This is our expanding team. In the front seat is our management members, and we have at the back row our gifted facilitators and counselors. Our associations with the World Council, the Global Talent Mentoring, the Asia Pacific Federation, and we were awarded in 2019 as Associated European Talent Point. Let me walk you through how our programs look like in India. So, Kaveri Group of Institute is an educational institute which is based in Pune, and we have about 5 educational institutes where we address and make our presence felt as in the field of gifted education. We begin with identification, which is in 3 areas. After identifying, the school addresses it by using differentiated curriculum, where teachers take the curriculum. We have nurturing, which is done by psychologists and counselors. And we have mentoring and counseling programs, which is done by our psychologists. Research and advocacy by researchers and policymakers. You will be able to see our building in the background. That is our main campus, which is situated, which has the 5th grade to 10th grade students, and we have our 11th and 12th graders in the next building, and we also have a huge playground. And as you can see, we have 3 other campuses which is spread in different parts of Pune. We have about more than 9,000 students, about 500 teachers, and we have about 14 psychologists. In each school, we have minimum of 1 or 2 counselors. If the population is large, we have even 3 and 4 counselors. It's just not counseling areas, but we also address remedial and learning problems, for which we have our special educators or the remedial teachers. We have gifted educators who are teachers trained in gifted curriculum, who address programs related to the STEM in our schools. Each school, we would have about 3 or 4 teachers and a back support group of more than 20 teachers. And as I shared with you at the Gifted Education Center, we have gifted facilitators who are about 6 to 7 of them. Our work began in 2009 when our colleague Dr. Sabina Manaswala had started the initiative with identifying students in 5th grade and doing small activities. That initiative culminated into us creating a separate autonomous body called the Kaveri Gifted Education and Research Center in 2014. Since then, it's been 9 years and we have screened more than 8,200 students, nurtured and mentored about 720 gifted children, and trained more than 600 teachers in gifted education. And that's only possible because the management took firm and decision to make it mandatory for teachers to be trained every year in batches of 25. So over the 6 to 8 years, we were able to cover more than 500 teachers who have basic awareness and are sensitized in addressing giftedness in children. We have nurtured about 120 gifted children from disadvantaged backgrounds and offered guidance and counseling to over 200 families of gifted children across India. So to begin with, we would do the identification. As we have seen, we have the Culture Fair Intelligence Test, the Standard Progressive Matrices, and Teachers Nomination, which is used. We believe that standardized testing is not the only one, and we need to also use Teachers Nomination, as you can see. We have another new project, which is for the kindergarten, identifying giftedness. And so we have created the Gifted Nomination Scale, which was initiated in 2015 and 16. And it was, we needed extra funds, and therefore we have resumed this project, which is coming to close completion, where we have created a nomination scale for teachers in the kindergarten so that they will be able to identify and work with children at the very early age. The interesting fact is, while we were doing teacher training, we found that the secondary teachers were sharing incidences of students in their classroom about how they are in the class and how they answer children and ask very curious questions. And we found that kindergarten teachers were able to recollect these very students who were in their class several years ago. And that is the base in which we decided that we should create this gifted nomination scale. This is how the scale looks. It's been put in a software which teachers in the beginning of academic year for about 3 to 4 months observe children, and twice a month fill in this software. And after 4 months, the children who are of higher average and below average ability are screened, and higher ability students are taken, and observations are done by teachers so that they can give enriching activities and exploration stuff for the students. We're really very proud to be sharing about the Kaveri Gifted Nurturing Program. It's elicited from the Panchakosh model. It's a human development model from Taittiriya Upanishad and from the Indian scriptures. So in short, we will be focusing on the 5 sheets or layers called the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, and Anandamaya Kosh. And as you can see in the photographs, we have inculcated activities which are very unique to the Indian tradition of practicing yoga, doing group activities, having discussions, and being among nature and having creative activities as a part of the nurturing and mentoring program. This is how the levels look. The first level is called Jigyasa. Jigyasa is curiosity. As we all know, kindergarten children are extremely curious and constantly exploring. And so that is the foundation years for this program. And we have after that about 5 levels, starting from Swaparichaya, which is becoming self-aware. Swavriddhi is cultivating skills. Swa-Uddesha, which is vision building. Swaprakash, which is recognizing one's potential. And the last level, which is for the 11th and 12th graders, would be Swasankalpa, that is living by one's principles and following one's purpose. So it's in the 5th grade when identification is done, the children graduate to the 6th grade, and that's when they are able to understand what it means to be of high ability. We help them recognize what are their strengths and how they can look at the potential. In level 2, the focus is more in enhancing their skills. And in level 3, having acquired the skills and awareness, they're able to work towards their own potential. As we all know, in the 8th and 9th grade, children are in the preteens and have a lot of issues relating to really working on their identity. So the nurturing program takes a turn where it's more inward, where they are exploring themselves in small groups. Level 4 is Swa Uddeshya. Gifted children always are very curious about their future, and they begin much ahead of normal children working on what they would like to visualize their life to be. And that's the reason we would work with gifted vision building and choosing purpose of life. And the last, Swasankalpa. Sankalpa is taking an oath, setting principles for lifelong learning of journey. And this is a crucial year in India because it's in the crossroads of education where children are making choices of career, where they can choose subjects or areas of work that they will work with in the future. And along with that, they will have to set their, conform more with the principles that they would like to lead their lives. It's a very proud moment for us to be sharing that as a part of our nurturing program, these two young boys were a part of the innovation project which was selected by the government of India, and it was awarded by the former President of India in the year 2019. This is how our nurturing program looks like. If you can see, they are sitting informally with their notepads, making observations and discussions. They go out in the nature, continuing their discussions. They make educational visits to the Indian Institute of Science and Education so that they can interact with young scientists, basically broadening and giving them a lot of exposure both in terms of academia and in social emotional development. Their interaction always continues across age groups as well, as we have children in school level and also college level in the same campus. It's easy for us to give opportunities for school children to visit the junior college labs and work with high school children in their projects. We also have a small initiative which is called the Urban Rural Connect, which is called Gram Setu, where we work with underprivileged schools, and we have adopted 2-3 school districts where we have trained teachers, about 16 to 18 of them, who come from 2 districts, and given them the certificate course on gifted education, and currently working with the children for the last 2-3 years. Having talked a lot about how we nurture children in a school setup, which is so much of academics and studies, we felt it was really very important to give a balance of students who aspire to be working on their talent in performing and other art forms. And to support this vision, we were very fortunate to be awarded this Born to Shine project, which is an initiative, CSR initiative of the Z Entertainment Enterprise Limited, which is one of the largest entertainment enterprise in India. And we are working with nurturing and profiling 30 girl prodigies who are talented in performing arts across 10 states and 3 union territories in India. And this project discussion began in 2022, and we have initiated the first profiling of the students in this year, and soon we will be having a residential camp as well. We've also been consulted to share our thoughts and insights for their knowledge series to create as a part of a project of awareness on talent development. Our management has always been extremely involved in enhancing and promoting talent and performing arts. But like most schools, it was just to promote kind of an activity or a concert, which is just a 1 year or a few days in a year. We felt the need to give equal importance for talent, and therefore the Kaveri Kala Kshetra, which is the talent hub, will initiate, and the vision is to see how we can create talent hub in schools, which aims to enable young student artists to excel in any performing art domain by nurturing them holistically and providing them with essential support and opportunities. Basically, the initiative is to see how the mindset of most Indian parents is naturally towards academia. Focus more on studies, focus more on science and math. But we feel that a lot of children get neglected who definitely show a lot of talent in either, art forms or dance forms or in music. And they need to be nurtured as well and given equal importance. Another talent hub is the Math Talent Hub, where we are working. Now, all this is only possible if we have a strong base with teachers who have the understanding and sensitivity. So since 2014, we have been doing a lot of teacher training programs in our schools. Our schools have become lab schools for us to explore and experiment. So it's easy for us to make mistakes and rise up and make new programs in working with children and teachers. So these are some of our initiatives with the teachers, and that helped us to create an virtual online module of gifted program the last year, where we had Madras University, which is a 100-year-old university in the south of India. We had 8 students who visited our campus and completed the certificate course. So the uniqueness of this course is that as most teachers or parents are really very curious and would like to know more about giftedness, we have different modules for them, and which is long distance. But along with that, I think it really helps people only if they have hands-on experience. And that is possible if they make a choice. A provision is made for these participants that they can visit 3 or 4 days to our schools. They are allotted students who are gifted. They can talk to the students during school hours. They can talk to the teachers. They can shadow the children and create profiles, and even meet the parents or have an interview with parents and create a profile. This helps in giving a hands-on experience for the people who have done their course. And over the weekend, when we have our nurturing program, they're able to really observe how our gifted educators create social emotional activities which enhances and build the life skills of gifted students. So just not stopping with in our district or in our city of Pune or in Maharashtra or looking at Pan-India, we this year collaborated with partners in Upbringing Singapore in February 2023 and were able to create this wonderful experience and exposure for educators. And this educator summit was virtual, which was led by our dear friend Dr. Paramita Roy, who is the Deputy Director for Jagdish Bose National Science Talent Search, Kolkata. But 9 experts shared their insights and experiences in gifted education. Live presentations by 6 teachers who had experiences working with high ability children across South Asia. And there were 72 participants, both from India and the different countries like Indonesia, Taiwan, Japan, Hong Kong, and Singapore participated. It is a very wonderful learning experience. We are really very proud to be sharing that 2 of our papers were accepted in the World Council for Gifted and Talented this summer. Last but not the least, having worked for 9 years, doing a lot of exploring, experimenting, facing a lot of challenges and hurdles, I think it made us very proud to participate and be a part of the National Education Policy 2020. This year, the Ministry of Education, Government of India, called and invited people virtually and in person in New Delhi, where Pradhan Mantri Innovative Learning Program focused on seeing how we can incorporate principles in the national education policy, especially in the area of identification and curriculum. This led us to another new opportunity on National Council for Educational Research and Training, the NCRT, where one of our colleagues, Dr. Sanina Manaswala, was invited for an entire week with educators across India in Bhopal to create a curriculum designed for gifted on socio-emotional learning. And until now, we've been talking about gifted program in schools. So we have had the privilege of having one of the largest number of children in our junior college, as we call in India, or the 11th, 12th graders. Now, the 11th, 12th graders are children who could be coming from our school or from neighboring schools to this campus of ours. And we felt that we need to identify them again. So we again do for about 800 to 900 children over a week. Testing is done. And after 15, 20 days, when the results are out, we have an orientation for the parents and students, and the nurturing program begins. It's very important, as we all know that 15, 16-year-old are already young students who aspire freedom and need a lot of space. But many Indian parents struggle to understand and give and let go, because until school they were protected and taken care of by the parents, and now they need to step out into this new world. So reorienting parents about the significance of giftedness and how children behave or students behave when they are in their 11th, 12th grade. They have a lot of responsibility to make decisions about future, so parents really need to understand and support. So we have about a year before our students are ready to go into colleges, and that's where we organize residential camps. Virtual and in-person webinars are organized. They are encouraged to visit and take internship and inspire internship camps. They also visit, it's just not for the science students, but also for the art and commerce students, where they can visit Film and Television Institute of India to understand different forms as well. As you can see, they are having a very interesting workshop, interacting with experts, having dialogues with gifted educators, and our 11th, 12th graders are really very fortunate because they have very dedicated team of gifted educators who have been working with them for the last 7-8 years. We are also very proud for the last 2 years we are associated with Global Talent Mentoring, and as you can see, until now we have had 11 students and the third batch is in progress. All this and more can only be possible with the support of parents. And therefore, though our school has had parents having regular programs with us, maybe 2 or 3 times a year with our gifted facilitators, many parents were seeking support from our KGERC, where they wanted to know if they are from different schools in and around Pune, they would also like to visit and have a dialogue. And therefore, this initiative having a parent support group, which was started last year. It's a community initiative, and we have created a platform parents with children from 5 to 20 years. Basically, the focus is where they share wisdom, emotional support, give assurance for each other, and share strategies as parents. We continue to also host the virtual parent support group, which was initiated in 2019 by Ms. Sila Fuzik, who had visited us in India at that time. And it was in Bombay that we were able to have this meet. And we have more than 37 to 40 parents across India virtually who interact using the WhatsApp support group. And we also have non-resident Indians from Singapore, Gulf areas who are part of that group. As you can see, it has been mentioned in our local newspapers as well. And it is a very good initiative which is gaining a lot of prominence, as every month we have more and more parents joining our group. Now, this is a huge task already taken for the last 9 years, and we would definitely like to share our learning and insights to the entire India. Having 1.43 billion people, it's not easy, and we are still a very small group of people. It's just like a drop in an ocean. And we felt we need to make our presence felt using technology, and that's when the podcast have started. So last year we had about 12 episodes called Being Gifted, which is available in Spotify and in Apple. And We have the next series coming in the next 12 episodes in the coming months. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to share our journey, and I'm sure as a talent point and center in India, there are different experiences that may be useful. Some might be exciting and stimulating for you. If you would like to reach us, please contact. If you're there in India, please visit us. We'd really love to share and exchange stories. Thank you so much.